Music talks in different ways. Hi there, I'm Tony Reed. Previously, we introduced Liu Ziwei's music, which incorporates the concept of traditional Chinese medicine at its core. Users of traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, believe that music has the capacity to improve one's health. According to Liu Ziwei, in TCM, it's believed that illness is a sign that an individual lacks one or more elements that are defined by the 5-element theory. She says that listening to music that contains the specific elements that one is lacking will help relieve their symptoms.
中医的经典著作《黄帝内经》2000多年前就提出了五音疗疾的理论。
The Yellow Emperor's medical manual transcript is one of the earliest and most notable written records in Chinese medicine. It says that musical notes have the capacity to cure illness. For this reason, emperors in ancient China listened to music in imperial court, not only for entertainment, but also to help them relax and regain their inner peace. This way, they were able to keep in good health.
In our last episode, Miss Liu selected some songs that are believed to have the capacity to help cool down or reduce excessive heat buildup in one's internal organs during the summer. At present, summer is slowly receding and autumn is at hand, which could be a reason why we've been seeing more rain since early August. The rains have brought with them bouts of cold weather. In keeping with the 24 solar terms of the traditional Chinese calendar, this year, August 7th was actually the first day of autumn, which is called the autumnal equinox. According to TCM, this is an ideal time to make efforts to protect our lungs because the amount of yin in our body begins to surpass that of yang. In this edition, we'll recommend certain types of food and lifestyles that can help with this seasonal transition. In addition, we'll share with you some remarkable songs from Liu Ziwei's repertoire of health and wellness music. You could expect to hear the rhythms and tempo of Western dance music and the emblematic features of Irish, Latin, and Afro-Cuban music. Without further ado, here is Flying Petals in Candlelight.
Flying Petals in Candlelight is delightful and romantic. It incorporates elements of the waltz in the hope of immersing listeners in a world of dreams. In their wildest imagination, they are engaged in an elegant dance with the one they love, surrounded by flickering candlelights in a snowy wonderland.
and that was Flying Petals in Candlelight. Earlier, we mentioned the 24 solar terms of the traditional Chinese calendar, which were listed by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity in 2016. For those of you who've never heard anything about these solar terms, you're probably wondering what that might have to do with our daily lives. People in China treat this system of dividing time as a resource and a guide. The solar terms indicate the alternating seasons and the changing of weather, as well as other phenomena in nature. The Chinese use a system developed by the ancients based on their observations of the sun and its movements throughout the year. So what does the autumnal equinox indicate in the northern hemisphere? It implies that the weather will be getting colder and the days will become shorter from this day on. Meanwhile, the balance between the yin and yang is shifting, heralding an approaching harvest. Guang'anmen Hospital in Beijing is one of the most prestigious institutions of traditional Chinese medicine in the nation. Experts there say that the appetite of people grows during this period because their bodies crave more energy as they're preparing for the upcoming winter. They say that people will usually have dry and itchy throats because of the sharp differences in daytime and nighttime temperatures. Before we find out what kinds of food are most helpful for easing this dryness of the throat, let's listen to another health and wellness piece. It's titled, What Strings Say on the Ancient Silk Road.
What Strings Say on the Ancient Silk Road has a strong Latin musical flavor. Diverse playing techniques were used to imitate the sound of Latin percussion instruments and create this exotic ambience using the two-stringed fiddle. It evokes scenes of passionate and enthusiastic people singing and dancing. It also calls to mind the magnificence of the ancient Silk Road. The idea is to transport listeners to an adventure along the ancient path.
And that was What Strings Say on the Ancient Silk Road. In TCM, autumn is believed to be an ideal time to take measures to protect our lungs. They believe that certain types of food are ideal for nourishing our lungs. This would include the lotus seed, honey, the tremella mushroom, pears, the bulbs of lilies, sesame, and so on. Autumn closely correlates with the lungs because they are both linked to a certain metal in the context of the 5-element theory, which states that everything in the universe is related to one of the 5 elements. Before we find out how we might need to readjust our lifestyles for the benefit of our health, let's listen to another track titled Starry Skies.
之舞，苍茫宇宙，银河间，满天星斗，深邃而平静。
Starry skies evokes countless stars blanketing the sky, leaving people lost in their thoughts.
And that was Starry Skies. Apart from the health benefits of an appropriate diet, we're also able to protect our lungs and our health in general by making certain readjustments in our lives. Autumn may finally be here, but the summer heat continues to linger in the air. This means that we may occasionally feel unbearably hot and yearn for the comfort of air-conditioned rooms. As it turns out, it's best not to spend prolonged periods of time in air-conditioned rooms. This is because you may end up experiencing respiratory problems, pain in the waist and shoulders, dryness of the skin and eyes, and even vomiting and diarrhea. It's also highly recommended that you pay attention to your mood. People may feel upset and anxious more often than usual because the autumnal equinox may result in an imbalance between the yin and yang in our bodies. Ultimately, this could be harmful on our health. On that note, I present to you a song called Eternal Love.
永恒之环，这是一首将拉丁风格的音乐元素融入养生二胡音乐的一首原创作品。
Eternal Love features Latin-style music. It's romantic and elegant, depicting a love both inexhaustible and unforgettable. It's a love that inseparably binds a couple, much like a key and a lock.
And that was Eternal Love. Last but not least, here's a confrontation in dance to wrap up this edition. I hope the songs and theories of TCM are of some benefit to you during this seasonal transition. On behalf of everyone here at Music Talks, I would like to express our sincere gratitude to musician Liu Ziwei and composer Yan Minmin for their contribution. For more from us, be sure to find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. I'm Tony Reed, and I hope to see you here again next time.